Last updated 1649, September 25, 2017. Jason Taumalolo and the North Queensland Cowboys are one victory away from completing a dream run to the NRL title. North Queensland would cap off a fairy tale run if they can beat the Melbourne Storm and capture the NRL title. Here's some of the classic bolters in Australian Rugby League history. Clive Churchill's South Sydney Heroics 1955. Churchill's brilliance got South Sydney to the finals, but they had to do it without him come September. The diminutive fullback guided them to 8 straight wins to sneak into the last finals spot, but only after he kicked a sideline conversion with a broken wrist against Manly in the penultimate round. The injury ended his season, but the Rabbitohs did it without him as they came from behind to beat Newtown 12-11 in the decider. Jared Hayne helped spark a late-season revival for the Parramatta Eels in 2009, but they were beaten in the NRL Grand Final by the Melbourne Storm. Balmain make it after playoff 1988. The Tigers reached their first Grand Final in 20 years, after they spent all but 2 weeks of the regular season outside of the top 5. Balmain were 9th at the halfway point of the season, but won 9 of their last 11 games to reach a midweek 5th-place playoff against Penrith. They won that, then defeated Manly 4th, Canberra 3rd and Manor Premiers Cronulla, before going down to Canterbury in the decider. Canterbury do it from NINTH 1998, the only team to have made a grand final from outside the top 8. Canterbury won their last 4 games to finish 9th, when a 20-team competition meant the top 10 made the finals and beat St George and North Sydney in the first 2 weeks of the finals. They then twice came from 16 points down in the 3rd and 4th weeks to beat Newcastle and Parramatta, the latter in extra time, before they were beaten by Brisbane on the big day. St George defies Super League War 1996. The Super League War meant the Dragons lost 2 head coaches and some of their players in the pre-season, and it showed as they dropped to 12th on the ladder after 10 rounds. But 7 straight wins landed them in the finals, where they beat the more fancied Canberra, Sydney City and North Sydney en route to their ill-fated decider against Manly. Jared Hayne inspires Parramatta Magic 2009. In an incredible 10-week run, Jared Hayne set the NRL alight as he broke through 84 tackles and set up 14 tries to take the Eels from 14th on the ladder and into the 8. They then beat the NRL's top 3 of St George, Illawarra, Canterbury and the Gold Coast to reach the decider, before they were beaten by Melbourne in the decider. North Queensland shocked the NRL 2017. The already injury-ravaged Cowboys were considered dead and buried when Jonathan Thurston went down with a season-ending shoulder injury in June. After they dropped 5 of their last 6, North Queensland had to wait on Canterbury beating St George Illawarra on the final day of the season to make the finals. But on the back of Michael Morgan and Jason Taumalolo, the Cowboys came from behind against Cronulla, Parramatta and the Sydney Roosters to set up a grand final date with Melbourne. Up.